Good day all. Under diverse ways of solving linear equation, we'll be looking at Cramer's rule. Cramer's rule is a way of solving linear equation. If we are being specific, yes, simultaneous equation. So our question says, using Cramer's rule, solve the linear equation. X plus y plus z is equal to 2. 2x plus y plus 3z is equal to 9. X minus 3y plus z is equal to 10. And we are asked to find what x, y, and z is. Now, the first step we'll be taking is representing this in this matrix form. So, in matrix, we have that to be x, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1 minus 3 and what? 1. X, y, z. And then we then have all of it to be equal to 2, 9, 10. So this is in our matrix form, this is how we represent it. So for the first row, we got it from the first equation. This is our first equation, this is our second equation, and this is our third equation. Now from our first equation, the coefficient of x is 1, we wrote down 1. Coefficient of y is 1, we wrote down 1. Coefficient, or what is in front of z, is 1, we wrote it down. What is in front of x for the second equation is 2, we wrote it down. What is in front of y for the second equation, no, though we don't see it, but we normally know is 1. Because if it is 0, there will be no y value there. This one is 3. For this one, the same thing, there is no number in front, so we take it to be 1. This one is minus 3 is in front of it. We don't neglect the sign this time around because it's minus. If it was plus, we would have just written only 3. And for this one, no number is in front of it. We assume it is also what? 1. Okay. Now, for the next column, you also be having your x, y, z. Represent it in this order. Because when it comes to matrix, how we multiply this times this. That's how we multiply. This 1 we multiply x, 1 we multiply y, 1 we multiply z. And everything will give us what? 2. And if you do that, you still get back to this. So I just represented this in this matrix form. Now, the next step, the idea here is to get 4 different determinants. This determinant, the first one, or I would like to call it the main determinant, is the determinant of this 3 by 3 matrix here. This 3 by 3 matrix here. The determinant of this particular matrix is what we refer to as the main determinant. We'll have to get it first. Then we'll then get determinants where when you replace this column, because this column, if you look at your equation given to you earlier, notice that this column is actually the value of every coefficients. So this is your x, this is your x, this is your x, and you know this is 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. So for you to find the determinant of dx, for dx, we'll be replacing this with this. So I would like to give this our column a name. Let's call here X, Y, and Z. And then let's call here C. So you'll be replacing the whole of this X with C, and you get a new matrix. Then you find the determinant of that matrix. That's how you get your dx. dy is not a far from that. You just have to change this particular column with this. When you replace this one with this one, then you find the determinant of that one. You get your dy. The same thing also goes for your dz. Same thing also goes for your dz. You replace this one with this one, and you find your determinant. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, starting from the main D itself, as the determinant of this matrix. Now, for us to find the matrix, we'll put our signs first: plus, minus, and plus. We ask ourselves, which of the rows are we going to be making use of? I'm choosing. I prefer to make use of this first row, so I'll be making use of the first row. You can make use of any of the row, but any row you're making use of, remember to apply your signs. What I mean by signs is that for this your second one, the sign will be minus, plus, minus, and for your third one it will be plus, minus, plus. So any one that you decide to make use of, make sure that you are also obeying their signs, you're following their signs, you're using their signs. So I'm making use of the first one. So since I'm making use of this one, for my x parts, I will ask myself for that plus one, or rather my one first, and ask myself which of the values don't fall under the rows and column of this particular value. I can say this is row 1. I'm making use of row 1. So which value doesn't fall under row 1 and under column x? We say is this set of values, this particular one. So we'll be finding the determinant of this 2 by 2 matrix now. So how we find the determinant of 2 by 2 matrix is the main diagonal minus the minor diagonal. This is the main diagonal, which is these two numbers. We multiply the two of them minus this minor diagonal. We multiply the two of them and subtract this one from this one. So doing that, we'll be having 1 times 1 minus 3 times minus 3. We have that to be the first one. Now over to the next one. This is our minus 1. Write it down, minus 1 bracket. We then ask ourselves what set of values doesn't fall under column y and row 1. This is why I use it, because this is where the 1 is. This is one we're making use of. So which of the number doesn't fall under column 1 and column y and row 1? It will be this set of values. This. Remember, your main diagonal will multiply themselves and subtract themselves from the product of the minor diagonal. Now when we do that, we have 2 times 1 minus 3 times 1. We also do the same thing for the z parts. For the z parts, we ask ourselves what number doesn't fall under row 1 and column z, and it will definitely be this set of values. Now our sign plus 1 multiplied by 2 times minus 3 will be what? Minus 1 times 1. And this is what we will have as our as our determinant. We have gotten the thing. That's for us to now simplify it and get our final answer. Now when we do that, this is 1. 1 times 1 is 1, minus 3 times minus 3 is what? Minus 9, minus 1, open bracket, 2 times 1 is what? 2, minus 3 times 1 is what? 3, plus 1, bracket, 2 times minus 3 is what? Minus 6, minus 1 times 1 is what? 1. Remember, all these are in the brackets. They are not, the one is not carrying the minus. Same thing with this 3. This 3 is not the one carrying the minus. So when we do that, we do that, we have that this is 1 times 1 plus 9. Minus times minus will give us plus. And 1 plus 9 is what? 10. Minus 1. 2 minus 3 is what? Minus 1. And plus 1. Minus 6 minus 1 will give us minus 7. Now 1 times 10 is what? 10. Minus 1 times minus 1 is what? Plus 1. Plus 1 times minus 7 is what? Minus 7. So at the end of the day, we have our answer to be what? 4. We have our answer to be what? 4. So along here, let me just write it within this place. For our D, we got our D to be what? 4. We have gotten our D to be 4. So now we are solving for dx. Now for us to solve for dx, we'll be replacing this with this. So when we do that, the whole of this will change to what? 2, 9, 10. Then our sign. So we'll go again. Plus 2, write down 2. Now it will be multiplying everything that is not in what? Row 1 and column x, which is this. So we have 1 times 1 minus 3 times minus 3 for the first one. For the next one, which is this one here, write it down. Now whatever doesn't fall under is row or column, we are having what? 9, 3, 10, 1. So we have 9 times 1 minus 3 times 10. Now the next one is that of our what? Z. Is that of our Z. For our Z, we have what? Plus 1 there. Now we have 9 times minus 3 minus 10 times 1. Now we have gotten it. Now we have gotten our determinant. Now it's not for us to now get our answer. Now let's so we have 2, 1 minus 9 minus 1. This is 9 times 1, which is what? 9 minus 3 times 10, which is what? 3 times 10 is what? Is 30 plus 1. 9 times minus 3 is what? Minus 27 minus 10. So this is our answer. Now, to simplify further, we have 1 minus 9, which is written as 1 plus 9. And to give us what? 10. Minus 9 minus 30 is what? Minus 21 plus 1 minus 37 minus 10. We have what? Minus 37. And when we do that, we have here to be what? 20. 2 times 10 is 20. Minus 1 times minus 21 will give us plus 21. Minus times minus is plus. Plus 1 times minus 37, we have what? Minus 37. So when we solve this, we have that our answer is what? 4. So we have gotten our dx, and we got it to be what? 4. Now let's get for our dy. So for our dy, we will replace this back with this normal value, what was initially there, which is what? 1, 2, 1. Now remember, what I'm trying to get is what? Dy. So we'll be changing the whole of y values. We're changing the whole of y values with the c value. So when we do that, we have here 2, 9, and what? 10. So this is what we need. This is the matrix we're looking for. Now we can then find the determinant. Now for the first one, we have our 1. Remember, values are not in this row or column. We have what? 9 times 1 minus 3 times 10. For the next one, that's the one, this for the one on y column that we just replaced. If we are to find the determinant, to be having that for minus 2, is 2 by 2 will be 2 times 1 minus 3 times 1. Now, next one we're doing is that of z. Z also goes the same way. What is not under your z and not across your arrow 1? We have this. This is what we're making use of. Then we have what? Plus 1 brackets 2 times 10 minus 9 times 1. Now, you have here to be what? 9 times 1, which is what? 9. Minus 3 times 10, which is what? 30. Minus 2 for this. 2 times 1 is what? 2. 3 times 1 is what? 3. Plus 1. This. Now, 2 times what? 2 times 10 is what? 20. Minus 9 times 1 is what? 9. Then, when we find the determinant of this, we'll be having 1 9 minus 30 will be giving us what? Minus 21. So minus 2, that's from here. Now 2 minus 3 is what? Minus 1 plus 1. 20 minus 9 is what? 11, right? Yeah. So we have 1 times minus 21 minus 21. Minus 2 times minus 1 will be giving us plus 2. Minus times minus is plus. Then plus 1 times 11 is what? 11. So this is what we'll be having as our answer. So when we add up, so we have our answer to be what? Minus 8. So that's what our dy is. Now we're looking for what? dz. Now for our dz, we'll be replacing this back with its initial value, which is what? 1 minus 1. And we will replace z with what? C. So when we do that, there will be what? 2, 9, and what? 10. So we have that our matrix to be 1 bracket, remember, 1 times 10 minus 9 times minus 3. For the y column, we have that minus 1 is equal to, no, bracket open, 2 times 10 minus 9 times 1. So for the next one, we'll be having plus 2. We have 2 times minus 3 minus 1 times 1. 2 times minus 3 minus 1 times 1. So we have gotten it. Now, for us to get our answer, we have 1 bracket. 1 times 10 is what? 10. Minus 9 times minus 3 is what? Minus 27. Minus 1. 2 times 10 is what? 20. Minus 9 times 1 is what? 9. Plus 2. 2 times minus 3 is what? Minus 6. Minus 1 times 1 is what? 1. So when we solve further, we have, this is 10 minus 27, which is written as 10 plus 27. So we'll be having here to be what? 37 minus 1 bracket 20 minus 9 will give us what? 11 plus minus 6 minus 1 will give us what? Minus 7. So when we multiply or open the bracket, we have 1 times 37 minus 1 times 11 minus 11, 2 times minus 7 minus 14. Now the calculator can get the answer. My calculator says that the answer is what? 12. So our DZ is what? 12. Now we'll be getting each of, we have no other use again for the matrix. We have gotten the 4 determinants that we need. They are the main things. So that's our focus now. The determinant that we wanted, we have gotten it. Now we don't say for us to get our x is what? Dx over what? D. And for us to get our y is dy over what? 4. For us to get our z is dz over what? D over d. They're all over d. This is dy over d, not over 4. So all of them is over d. Now imputing our values, we have that of our x, dx is what? 4. What is our d? 4. Definitely x will be what? 1. For our y, we have that dy is what? Minus 8. D itself is what? 4. Definitely our y will be what? Minus 2. And for our z, our dz is what? 12 over what? 4. So definitely our z will be what? 3. So these are the values of our x, y, and z. So that's all for this video. Please subscribe to the channel, like the videos if it was helpful to you, and share it with your friends. Goodbye.